Right then guys, we're going to get into a really kind of important topic here, and it's called secret eating. And this is something that I'd imagine most of us have done, myself included, in the past. And we're going to get into why it happens, how we can actually stop the bloody thing, and how we can just overcome it for the rest of our lives. So the stuff that we eat when nobody is watching, that's secret eating, isn't it? And this is where results are generally won or lost. And it's just about coming to an understanding that why this is happening, okay? So first up, we have the mirror in place. It could be eating biscuits, standing up at the counter, right? It could be finishing the kids' leftover before you've even sat down. It could be that the wrapper goes in the bin before anyone sees it, because if you do that, nobody knows you've eaten that food, you know? Eating one thing at dinner, then something completely different at 10 p.m. when maybe the kids have gone to bed or your partner's gone to bed and you're on your own, and that's fine because nobody's around to watch it. Listen, I'm not here to judge. Nobody's here to judge. Pretty much everyone has done it, myself included, but if we don't talk about it, it wrecks your progress. So it's important we get this out in the open. And if you're watching this now and thinking, you know what, I do this, let me know, okay? Because it's important that you do. Now, if it doesn't count if nobody sees it, that's what we tell ourselves. That's the kind of story we tell ourselves. It's the lie that we tell ourselves. So you log 1 glass of wine when you had 3. You log 2 biscuits, you had 6, even more. You do that 2 or 3 times a week. And that is kind of like the whole deficit that you've worked really hard on. It's gone in like a little moment in the evening. Now, I think people will associate this with a lack of willpower. Not necessarily the case. It's not a discipline problem either, really. It's a pattern, and it's like an emotional issue that we've got. And patterns can be broken once we actually see them. So the first thing to overcome all of this we need to do is to address it. We need to see it, we need to realize it, we need to address it. It's like I said, it's not a lack of discipline or willpower, because I'd imagine if you're watching this and you do that, you'd be like, oh, I haven't got any willpower. It's not that, it's a system. Everything runs on systems. And if we can just get a new system, we can overcome it, all right? So please do not think this is the end of the world. Now, reason 1 about this whole kind of secret eating thing, it's out of shame, not hunger, right? Secret eating feeds off shame. It runs on shame. You eat in private because part of you already feels bad about it. So you're doing it in private because subconsciously you feel bad about doing it, right? Then eating it makes you feel worse, so you hide it more. The shame grows. It's a vicious cycle, goes round and round and round. The secrecy is the fuel to secret eating, right? And the food is almost a side note to it. So it's just fueling that kind of emotional shame that you've got around the fact that you want to eat something, and then you do it in private because you think if you do it on your own, nobody sees. And well, nobody does see, but it doesn't impact you, which it does, doesn't it? It feeds into that emotional kind of feeling bad about yourself, and it just goes round and round and round. Reason 2 is the restriction backlash. This is the biggest one for most people. You're too strict all day, you know? You set yourself up for failure. Well, not failure, you set yourself up for crashing and burning because you're too strict all day. Barely eating, cutting everything out, being good, in air quotes there. Then the evening comes, your willpower's just hit the floor because honestly, you've got like none of it left because you've been doing all your willpower in the day, and your body's screaming for a quick energy fix. Now, like I said, it's not the fact that willpower's on the floor, it's the fact that your system isn't working properly, so you just go to the food. Now, again, it's not you failing. The plan is built on restriction. That's just making you feel worse. I think in the moment, it makes people think they're doing the right thing, but it's not, which is why I bang on about 80-20 all the time. You need to have that 20%. Even if you include that 20% in every single day, it gives you that little bit of flexibility, that little bit of kind of that aha moment where it's like, you know what, I can actually eat a chocolate bar and still get in great shape. Prime example, I have a chocolate bar pretty much every day. I swear to God, every single day. And I never binge. I'm never overly restricted, I never secret eat anymore, I used to, but my systems are in place where I know I can have that, and it stays within my calorie target, and I would say possibly in the best shape I've ever been at the grand old age of 38 years old, or am I 39? I can't remember, lose track of time. But this is something I really want to focus on. Do not restrict too much because it has a detrimental impact. You might think you're doing the right thing in the moment, but you're not. You need to allow yourself that bit of flexibility. As long as it's within a certain calorie target, especially if you're looking to lose body fat, that's what we need to be doing, okay? Reason number 3, the 10 p.m. decision. This is the big one. You're tired, work's been crazy, nobody's watching. You know, you're not even hungry. You're a bit knackered, you're a bit stressed. The cupboard's right there. Your favorite food's in there. That is emotional. That is an emotional eating response. It's not physical hunger. And once you spot the difference, once you can recognize the difference, that is when we get the power back. basically what's happening with secret eating and emotional eating is that you're giving the power to your emotions, that little voice in your head. I talk about this a lot, that little voice nagging you in your head. It's not even you, it's your subconscious. It's not you, it's something else, right? And that is overriding you having the power. If you can start to recognize this, you get that power back. And that's what we need. When you've got the power back, you're in control. So how do we break all of this? Well, 3 things, right? Bring it to light first and foremost. What I was talking about, bring it to the front. The second it stops being a secret, it loses most of its power. Log it honestly, tell me about it, no judgment at all, you know this. Build a proper anchor meal in the evening. So when you have your evening meal, it needs to have a portion of protein in. It really does, and you will be surprised the difference that will make to you wanting food later. You know, solid palm of protein, big portion of veg. Snacking usually means dinner wasn't filling enough or nutritious enough for you. So again, just bear that in mind. Build a proper evening meal and pick one evening guardrail, protect it with your life. It could be something like a kitchen cut-off time, right? Snacks out of sight, something like that. Before you reach for it, pause for 2 seconds, ask yourself, with the person I'm trying to become, which is why we're here, we're trying to become a different person, would they eat this right now? And the answer will always be, they probably wouldn't, mate. All right, so a couple of different tips there as well. And the golden rule that I absolutely live by, don't I? Never miss twice, right? One secret snack isn't a write-off. The next choice is what matters. All right, this isn't about being perfect around food. In fact, I don't want anyone to be perfect with food because that sucks. You don't want to be perfect around food. It's about being honest with yourself so it stops controlling you. And if it feels like it's going to deeper than that habit, if food becomes a thing you turn to every time life gets hard, it's worth talking through this properly, even with me or the right professional. There is no shame in it at all, but what you don't need to do is bottle it up. Do not bottle it up because that makes things worse. If you can get this out in the open, it's vitally important that you do, because it just, once you recognize it, once you share that problem, straight away you're getting that power back, you're getting that control back, okay? So really important we kind of have a little think about what we're trying to do here in terms of how we can eradicate it, be aware of it, and then we can move forward with it, all right? Very important lesson today, guys, because I'd imagine pretty much 100% of the people watching this or listening to this will have been through this at some point. Drop me a message if you are going through it, or if you have gone through it, or if you think it might be something you're going through, and we can have a chinwag about it, okay? Have a great one, guys. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.